So what happened now? They are introducing institutions from all those who are involving in this.
Let's move on to Willie Man.
Hi, hi, sorry. Hi, my name is Yo-Yo Morales with SA Rise, and we have 20 leaders here with us today. And together, we're going to reach out to 500 voters.
Holy Redeemer. St. Philip.
And Juan, just introduce yourself.
Okay, I think we lost St. Philip and Holy Redeemer. Let's go on with St. Leo.
My name is Gloria Mora, and I was in Leo the Great, Top Metro. We have 30 people who have committed to reach 1,000 voters by doing phone banking.
My name is Irma Ochoa from St. Alphonsus Church. I have 6 committed members on my team who are calling 300 voters.
This is Willie Mae Craig from Holy Redeemer. We have 30 members, 30 leaders with us today, and we plan to reach out to all of our church members, in addition to 800 more voters.
Rose Arahuya Checa, St. Philip's of Jesus Opposite Metro leader with 20 leaders, reaching 1,000 voters, calling parish and voting lists, pulpit talks, bulletins, and flyers in our neighborhood to get voters to the polls.
Divine Providence.
You are a mute one. No, it's
Divine Providence.
I'm Juan Elias from here with Father Ryan from Divine Providence Catholic Church, and we have 30 volunteers signed up and ready to hit the phone banks, reach out to 1,200 voters in our community to get out the vote.
This is Sister Patricia from Our Lady of the Angels. We're coming strong with 20 leaders today, reaching out to 1,300 voters.
My name is Antonio Infante from St. Patrick Catholic Church in Top Metro. We have 20 leaders today, and we are going to reach 2,000 voters by phone, social media, and one by one.
so what's happening right now? They are making an introduction of their
and we have 10 dedicated leaders here, and we are reaching 700 voters.
I'm Florence Weinberg from Our Lady of Guadalupe Church, and I know that Lee Thielen has contacted over 1,000 of us by email, urging us to come to this meeting, and of course, to vote and vote for Proposition B and follow his advice, of course, which I think at least one of us is doing today.
My name is Vincent Arreguin, COPS Metro leader from El Carmen Catholic Church. We have over 20 people here on the call, and we are committed to get 600 voters out on November 3rd for the election.
I am Sister Anita Brennick, a sister of Divine Providence at Our Lady of the Lake Convent. I have 36 sisters with me today, plus associates and OLLU students. We are ready to call the 2,000 people in our precinct to get out the vote.
So what happened right now? They are introducing their names and the institutions that they are in. Indeed, this is a lot of group that we are representing communities, parishes, groups, and other religious institutions. So lo que pasando ahorita están introduciendo los grupos y las iglesias, como ha escuchado a ustedes, y congregaciones y mucho más. So let us continue, listen to them.
In their homilies,
he wants Proposition B to pass, and so do all of us.
I'm Beverly McClure here with 32 parishioners from St. Francis of Assisi. We will reach 8,000 voters with personal phone calls and weekly media reminders, and we will vote.
My name is Jenny Almendares from Sacred Heart Church. We have 52 leaders, and we'll be bringing 1,500 supporters to the ballot. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ernest E. Felder Jr., proudly representing Macedonia Baptist Church, co-pastor Yolanda Turner. We are 140 plus present today. They're dedicated to getting the vote out. We're sponsoring 5 events on the west side of town. We will reach 5,200 voters.
So we want to get my math, but COPS Metro leaders just committed 51,729 voters for the November 3rd election. Let's hear it for COPS Metro.
The votes we are seeking are not for any specific candidate. They are for our issues agenda. These issues have been identified in listening to the stories of our brothers and sisters. Let's listen to a few.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Gaden, and I'm a member of Macedonia Baptist Church. Deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and too many more exposed to the entire nation what many of us already knew. We need police reform. We need better relationships between the police and the community. This became clear to me when I was attending University of Texas at Austin. One night, my friend and I were walking from the parking lot when campus police stopped us. They said they got a call about 2 individuals looking in cars, and we fit the description wearing shorts and white t-shirts. But it wasn't just fitting a description. Lots of people were walking with us. Lots of people were wearing shorts and white t-shirts. No one else was stopped because they already had who they were looking for. 2 black men guilty of nothing except for being black. Fortunately, nothing happened from there, but it showed me the changes that need to be made in policing. To be clear, COPS Metro does not want to defund the police. COPS Metro is about making sure there are good police officers and that there is a good relationship between the police and the community. Thank you.
Ms. Salazar? Angélica?
Sí. Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Angélica Salazar, líder de COPS Metro y del Sagrado Corazón. Durante la crisis necesitamos más que nunca el apoyo de las autoridades correspondientes de la educación de nuestros hijos. Por eso, yo pedí al Distrito Escolar de San Antonio que nos dieran entrenamiento en el manejo de la tecnología a los padres de familia y estar seguros que en el Estado no corten fondos a nuestras escuelas. Ahora, por eso me estoy capacitando como líder para asegurarme de que mi voz sea escuchada cuando se tomen decisiones que afectarán a mi familia. No importa de dónde vengamos, todos conocemos a alguien que puede votar. Aquí tengo mis listas de personas que pueden votar y hacer escuchar mi voz.
I grew up on the
My
west.
name is Angelica Salazar, leader with Cops Metro and parishioner at Sacred Heart Church. During the crisis, more than ever, we needed the support of the authorities responsible for the education of our children. I asked SAISD for training on the technology our children use and made sure the state does not cut funds on our schools. And now that is why I enabled myself to become a leader and to make sure that my voice is heard whenever that the decisions are made that have been affecting my family. It doesn't matter where we come from. We all know somebody that can vote. And I have my list here ready to go of knowing of people that can vote and make my voice be heard.
I grew up on the west side of San Antonio. I come from a family of 11, and my mother was a migrant farm laborer. My twin sister and I were the first of our family to graduate from high school and college.
I retired from the Navy Reserves as a lieutenant commander in 2017. My career is the direct result of Project SIR, a workforce development program that gave me the skills and confidence that I needed to succeed. I want everyone to know that when we invest in people the right way, we can and we will excel, no matter where we come from.
What is the right way? Let's start with what's the wrong way. For decades, the city gave tax breaks to businesses who then employed people at low wages. San Antonio was marketed as a cheap labor city, good for business, bad for low-wage workers.
The right way is to invest in a high-skilled, high-wage workforce development program. Project Quest, which Cops Metro created, pioneered this work in San Antonio. It provides wraparound services like mentoring, tutoring, and financial assistance for things like healthcare and housing. Project Quest graduates into the program earning poverty wages, but they leave earning more than $46,500 per year.
That is a good investment. And on November 3rd, we have the opportunity of a lifetime to change the trajectory of our city with Proposition B, SA Ready to Work. Passing Proposition B means $154 million to develop high-skill, high-wage workers. These funds will be used to expand Project Quest's wraparound services into Alamo College's district and other colleges. Currently, Alamo College's district has one case manager for every 300 students. This is too high. Passing Proposition B will allow them to lower that ratio to 1 to 100. This is the ideal ratio.
To pass Proposition B, we first have to teach people about it, and more important, and the other important propositions at the end of the ballot. There is also Proposition A, Pre-K for SA, that provides for early childhood education, and the Advanced Transportation District proposition that will provide funding for via transit. And finally, there's also the SAISD student bond. These propositions are at the end of the ballot are very important to our community. And propositions for Pre-K for SA, Ready to Work SA, and VIA do not raise taxes. They are reallocation of existing taxes, and they all deserve our vote.
In order to pass Proposition B and these other important measures, we must keep our commitment to get out 52,000 votes. Each institution has their own plan. Make sure that you are plugged into the plan. Cops Metro will also have organization-wide phone banks. Mark your calendars for next Saturday, October 3rd, from 10 a.m. to noon. The second is on Tuesday, October 13th, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. The link to RSVP will be sent out immediately after this action.
These phone banking opportunities are very important, but we also must follow the example of Deborah Marmot from St. Francis.
For years, I was fighting alone for a better world. Then I became a Cops Metro leader and learned how to work with all of you for a better San Antonio. I made a list of all the people I knew in San Antonio, fellow parishioners, friends, family members, co-workers, and neighbors. In 3 weeks, I taught 20 of them about Proposition B, and they all committed to voting for it. I've challenged them to make their own list to teach about Proposition B. My 21-year-old son and 16-year-old daughter are also reaching out to their friends to teach about Proposition B. I will follow up with my list and make sure they vote. Our power comes from organized voters. We must show politicians the cold, hard evidence that we can organize the vote. I've gone from fighting alone to organizing 20 votes, and I'm going to keep going. I've gone from powerless to powerful. Join me and make a list. Teach your family, friends, neighbors, colleagues, and fellow parishioners about the bottom of the ballot. Together, we will pass Proposition B and build the power to take on the issues like education and police reform.
We know where we stand. Now it's time to hear where the candidates stand on our agenda. Candidates will be asked a yes or no question and will have 1 minute to respond. Sarah Pettis will be the timekeeper. She will give them a 15-second warning and let them know when their time is up.
Mayor Ron Nierenberg, please unmute yourself. Mayor Nierenberg, at the June 4th council meeting, you stated that whenever the mayor and Cops Metro work together, historic victories happen. We agree. We also agree with your statement that Cops Metro is right 100% of the time, even when we don't like it. We have a saying that we don't applaud when a politician commits. We applaud when they deliver. Mayor Nierenberg, you have delivered. The victories we celebrated earlier were the direct result of you standing with Cops Metro. Let's recognize the mayor for his strong support of workforce development, housing, and police reform. Now we'd like for you to make public some commitments that you have made to a smaller group of Cops Metro leaders. Proposition B. When passed, Proposition B, Ready to Work San Antonio, will provide $154 million to move COVID-19 affected workers into high-skill, high-wage jobs. Will you commit to ensuring that all providers and institutions using Proposition B funds provide the wraparound services to prepare students for high-wage, high-skilled jobs, especially the counselor to participant ratio of 1 to 100?
Yes.
Will you fight to ensure that the collective bargaining agreement with the San Antonio Police Officers Association does the following? Eliminates the 48-hour preparation time,
Yes.
eliminates the 180-day time limit on imposing discipline,
Yes.
ensures that past offenses can be introduced as evidence in discipline investigations,
Yes.
and works with Cops Metro throughout the CBA negotiations.
Absolutely, yes.
You have 1 minute to comment.
Well, I just want to say thank you to you all for being here. My heart is swollen right now, and we would not be here on the brink of a historic investment in the people of our community if not for Cops Metro raising your collective voices. It's been my honor to work with you. Thank you for the very clear call to action for our local government institutions and our educational institutions and our businesses to work together with you to establish this program. I look forward to working with all my might and all my energy to ensure that Proposition B, SA Ready to Work, passes, as well as the rest of the ballot, which is all very important investments in our human capital here in San Antonio. Thank you especially to Sonia Rodriguez, who is one of our co-chairs for the SA Ready to Work campaign. I want to thank Pastor Daly as well for his invitations to speak and his very clear calls as well to his community. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senate District 19. My name is Andrea Ramirez, leader of SA Rise and SAIFT teacher. Candidate Roland Gutierrez, please unmute yourself and prepare to answer yes or no to the following questions. For workforce development, will you commit to the following? A campaign in support of Proposition B.
Yes.
Increase the Adult Career Education Fund Texas grants to job training opportunities from $4.5 million to $10 million.
Yes.
For education, will you commit to the following? Fight to maintain the current education funding levels.
Yes.
Ensure adequate funding for virtual education, including technology and devices.
Yes.
Provide funds to train parents on the use of technology and devices.
Yes.
For police reform, will you commit to the following? Passing legislation that mandates truthful F5 reporting.
Yes.
Creating a statewide database of truthful F5 records.
Yes.
Creating an independent prosecutor to examine cases when deadly force is used.
Yes, absolutely.
And lastly, if elected, will you meet with Cops Metro when requested?
Yes.
You have 1 minute to respond.
Thank you all. It has been my honor to have served this community for going now on 15 years. Back to my days on city council, it was a great privilege working with Cops Metro and Project Quest, ensuring that we added value to those. In that time, it was mostly women that were taking part of the Project Quest program and getting paid from being on unemployment to getting paid $17 an hour in the aeronautics industry. It has been my honor to serve you. I will continue to fight for you in the Texas legislature as I have through all of these years. We have to make sure that we get the CARES Act money that we need for our communities, for connectivity, for making sure that we have training for families that need it. And it's incumbent upon us to make federal money come down back to the state. Thank you very much for your time.
Texas House District 117, Philip Cortez, will you please unmute? Candidate Philip Cortez, please prepare to answer yes or no. Workforce development, will you commit to following? Campaign in support of Proposition B?
Yes.
Increase the adult career education fund to local job training programs from 4.5 million to 10 million.
Yes.
Education, will you commit to the following? Fight to maintain the current education funding levels.
Yes.
Ensure adequate funding for virtual education, including technology and devices.
Yes.
Provide funds to train parents on the use of technology and devices.
Yes.
Police reform, will you commit to the following? Pass legislation that mandates truthful F5 reporting.
Yes.
Create a statewide database of truthful F5 records.
Yes.
Create an independent prosecutor to examine cases when deadly force is used.
Yes.
If elected, will you meet with Cops Metro when requested?
Yes.
You have 1 minute to respond.
Thank you, and I want to say thank you to all the Cops Metro members that are currently on this Zoom call, taking time out of your Sunday where you can be spending it with your family and participating, be activists and here in the community. That's a big deal, and I want to say thank you for your efforts. Since, just like my colleague, Representative Roland Gutierrez, since my time on the City Council back in 2007, I've worked very closely with Cops Metro Alliance leadership to increase funding back on the City Council, City of San Antonio budget to increase funding for Project Quest. And each and every year that the request was made to me, I voted in support of Project Quest receiving that funding. I'm proud to support Mayor Ron Nirenberg and his Proposition B job training initiative. I was on the call yesterday when he had a press announcement, the press conference announcement. And I was proud to support him on that Zoom call yesterday. And I look forward to campaigning for that for the workers. I also look forward to working with you to increase our minimum wage to a living wage. And I thank you for all your efforts. May God bless you all. May God bless Texas.
And just for the record, I forgot to say my name. My name is Kathy McCoy, and I am a leader of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Helotes, and I reside in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you.
House District 118. My name is Vincent Tarraguin, leader of Cops Metro Alliance, El Carmen Catholic Church. Candidates, Leo Pacheco, please unmute yourself. Please answer yes or no. Under workforce development, will you commit to the following? Support and campaign for Proposition B. Yes. You can increase the ACE fund that Texas grants to local job training programs from 4.5 million to 10 million. Absolutely, yes. Under education, will you commit to the following? Fight to maintain the current education funding levels. Yes. Ensure adequate funding for virtual education, including technology and devices. Yes. Provide funding to train parents on the use of the technology and devices. Yes. Under police reform, will you commit to the following? Pass legislation that mandates truthful F5 reporting. Yes. Create a statewide database of F5 records. Yes. Create an independent prosecutor to examine the cases when deadly force is used. Absolutely, yes. If elected, will you meet with Cops Metro when requested? At any time, yes. You have 1 minute to respond.
I want to thank everybody for the opportunity to address the Cops Metro Alliance. It's an honor for me to be here. I remember joining Cops at St. Leo the Great Catholic Church in 1978, along with Father McCarthy. And I knew that it was something that was going to be very important for the community, and it has. I want to say that I'm very committed to when it comes to workforce development. I used to work with the SARE, Jobs for Progress, back in the day, and so I know exactly how important that is with on-the-job training and all those programs, and I'm very committed to that. And I also want to make sure to let everybody know that if any funding, they try to cut any funding to the K through 12 public school system, I will fight very hard to make sure that I will be against that and work very hard to make sure that doesn't happen. Thank you very much for having me.
Candidate Adam Sawyer, please unmute yourself and answer yes or no.
Vince, Mr. Sawyer was in the call, but he was dropped by internet connection. He just sent a message that he's coming back. So continue to the next candidate.
House District 121. My name is Scott Emerson Price, a leader from Cops Metro and First Unitarian Universalist Church, and a resident of District 121. Our candidate, Selena Montoya. Please unmute yourself. Answer yes or no. For workforce development, will you commit to campaign and support Proposition B? Will you increase the ACE fund that Texas grants to local job training programs from 4.5 million to 10 million?
Yes.
Education Act, will you commit to fight to maintain the current education funding levels?
Yes.
Will you ensure adequate funding for virtual education, including technology and devices?
Yes.
Will you provide funds to train parents on the use of technology and devices?
Yes.
For police reform, will you commit to passing legislation that mandates truthful F5 reporting?
Yes.
Will you commit to fighting to create a statewide database of F5 records?
Yes.
Will you commit to create an independent prosecutor to examine cases when deadly force is used?
Yes.
And finally, if elected, will you meet with Cops Metro if requested?
Yes, absolutely.
You have 1 minute to respond.
Well, thank you everyone for the opportunity to address you today, for the invitation. Your reputation for the work you do precedes you. And I can say, as a mother of 2 young school-age children, I know how important it is to not only protect the funding we have for schools now, but to increase it so that it's equitable and full for every single student out there so they can get the fair shot they need. I know as a taxpayer how important it is to demand accountability and transparency for every job and initiative that comes our way, and to support those that are going to lift up everyone in our community. And I know as a voter how important it is to get out the vote, provide education, and ensure that everyone has the opportunity to have their vote counted. So thank you for your commitment to ensuring that you're reaching out to voters in your community, and for the opportunity to talk to you today. Thank you.
Congressional District 23, candidate Gina Ortiz Jones and Tony Gonzalez. My name is Fry Bill Kraus. I'm the pastor of Our Lady of the Angels Parish in San Antonio. Candidate Ortiz Jones, would you please unmute and be prepared to answer yes or no? For workforce development, will you commit to support and campaign for Proposition B?
Yes.
Project Quest is an economic investment program that returns dividends 20-fold to our community. If elected, do you commit to leverage $2 million in funding for Project Quest, our city's workforce training program?
Yes.
And for police reform, do you commit to the following: increase funds to develop de-escalation and community engagement?
Yes.
To restrict the availability of military-style equipment to local police?
Yes.
You have 1 minute to respond.
Well, thank you and good afternoon. And I certainly want to express my sympathies to those of you that have lost someone to COVID-19 or have dealt with it yourself. This has been an especially difficult time for our community, and I very much appreciate COPS Metro's focus on the things that allow us to strengthen economically and move forward as a society, as a congressional district, as a state, as a country. My entire career has been in national security, almost 15 years, and I'm thankful for the opportunities that allowed me to grow up healthy, get an education, and serve our country. That started right here in San Antonio with my public education, ability to grow up healthy, and then serve our country as working in national security almost 15 years. But national security starts with economic security. It starts with a strong middle class, and it starts with making sure that our communities are safe here at home. So I want to thank you for the work that you do. I look forward to being a good partner with you and making sure that our Texas 23 is finally well represented.
Candidate Tony Gonzalez, please unmute and be prepared to answer yes or no. To workforce development, will you commit to supporting and campaigning for Proposition B? Yes. Project Quest is an economic investment program that returns dividends 20-fold to our community. If elected, you commit to leveraging $20 million in funding for Project Quest, our city's workforce training program. Yes. And for police reform, do you commit to the following: increase funds to develop de-escalation and community engagement? Yes. To restrict the availability of military-style equipment to local police? No. No. You have 1 minute to respond.
Thank you all for everyone on the call. My story is humble beginnings. I'm a high school dropout. It's now running for U.S. Congress. My father abandoned me when I was 2 months old, and now I'm a father of 6. You see, my campaign is built on economic mobility. And the way we do that is we invest in our education. I'm a product of public school. All my school-age children go to public school. I believe we need to strengthen all schools, including public schools. Workforce development is real. It is how we grow our communities. It's through opportunities. I'm running on job opportunities, and I look forward to working with each and every one of y'all, elected members of Congress, or elected officials, community leaders, and everyone throughout. I want to thank everybody for taking time on this Sunday. God bless and take care.
Reverend Major. You're muted.
Sorry. Sheriff Harry S. Salazar, would you please unmute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Please answer yes or no to the following questions. By the way, I'm Reverend Timothy Major from St. John Baptist Church. How are you? Will you commit to the following? Advocate for legislation to ensure a triple F5 and the creation of a state/national database of police certification.
Yes.
Create an independent auditor.
Yes.
ban the chokehold and the use of no-knock warrants?
Yes, already have.
If elected, will you meet with Compton Metro if requested?
Yes, I've been doing so for several years already.
Okay, you have 1 minute.
Thank you.
Respond.
Thank you. I've been blessed to be serving this community for 28 years, almost 24 with the San Antonio Police Department, and now 4 as the Bexar County Sheriff. Of course, I've been meeting with Cops Metro since before I became sheriff, when I was still a member of the San Antonio Police Department, and I served on the staff of Chief Willie McManus at the time. I'm proud that of all the police reforms that are being asked of our profession and my agency, I will be on the right side of history with regard to those reforms. I've strengthened training, I've increased training, I've certainly held my deputies accountable to the extent possible, and I will continue to do so. With regard to body cameras, I'm proud to say that I established the first fully functional body camera system within the sheriff's office. And of course, with regard to making sure that we're continuing on the reforms, you have my full commitment to continue banning chokeholds and continue banning no-knock warrants to the extent we already have, as well as any other maneuvers that unfit.
Thank you.
Okay.
County Commissioner Precinct 1, Gabriel Lara and Rebecca Clay Flores. Please unmute yourselves. Ms. Rebecca Clay Flores, be prepared to answer yes or no. Under Workforce Development and Parks, will you commit to supporting and campaigning Proposition B?
Sí, señor, yes.
Will you commit to county funding for Linear Creekway Parks program?
Sí, señor, yes.
You have 1 minute to respond.
Hi, as some of you may very well know, this is the first time I've run for office. I consider myself a community educator, and I will continue to support the community. My campaign has been a grassroots effort, and we have won with hard work and very little money. So that's how we will continue to fight. My slogan is Juntos luchamos, juntos ganamos. We will continue to fight for the best interests of our community. So don't vote for me because I will be the first Black or Mexican woman of color to serve as county commissioner. But vote for me because I'm a tough woman who's educated and who will get the job done and who will be a voice for the voiceless. Thank you.
Gabriel Lara, please be prepared to answer yes or no. Under Workforce Development and Parks, will you commit to supporting and campaigning for Proposition B?
Yes.
Will you commit to county funding for Linear Creekway Parks program?
Yes.
You have 1 minute to respond.
I have served the community as a San Antonio firefighter and paramedic for 34 years. So I know the precinct quite well because there's 34 years of spent in this precinct. I have been an advocate for work study programs for the last 4 years. I have met Sister Pearl with Project Quest 4 years ago. I have seen the return of investment that the program brings. I am a product of Sanyo. If it had not been for Sanyo, a work study type program as a high school senior, I would not be the person that I am today. I appreciate you inviting me, and God bless.
County Commissioner Precinct 3. My name is Mike Phillips, leader of the First Unitarian Universalist Church and leader with Cops Metro. Ms. Christine Hortick, please be prepared to answer yes or no. Will you commit to supporting and campaigning for Proposition B?
Yes, I will.
Will you commit to county funding for the Linear Creekways Parks program?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. You have 1 minute to respond.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you to everyone today for giving me this opportunity to be with you today. I appreciate all of the efforts that all of y'all are making in your individual ways. It's very inspiring, especially as a candidate. I'm out there campaigning for myself and for my own platform, and it's such a boost to hear that so many of you are also out there working hard for the community. I think it's crucial that if we are going to grow and mature as a community, that we need to be willing to make the investment in ourselves and in our neighbors. And I think Proposition B is a perfect example of a step in the right direction. There's so much work to be done, but we need to start somewhere. And I think that's going to be crucial to helping those residents today and in the future. I'd also ask that everybody take the time to learn about the other propositions on the ballot. It's a long ballot. And I also ask that you take the time to learn about my race in Precinct 3. Thank you.
Did we get candidate Adam Sawyer back on the line?
No.
Most of our candidates who attended today agreed with Cox Metro agenda, except for one. Said no. District 23.
Tony Gonzalez in District 23.
Thank you, Mike. And for those who didn't show up today, to our candidates, the candidate for State Senator District 19, Pete Flores, the candidate for Texas House of Representative District 117, Carlos Antonio Raymond, Bexar County Sheriff candidate Gerard Rickoff, candidate for Texas House Representative District 121, Steve Allison, and candidate for County Commissioner Precinct 3, Trish DeBerry.
Mr. Rose?
Cops Metro, you have heard the issues. You know where the candidates stand. You see who is here and who is not. Now we must organize others to vote. Even if you cannot vote, you know people who can. Everyone, let's commit to get our family, friends, neighbors, and congregants and make sure they know what happened today and that they vote.
Good afternoon, Compton Metro Alliance. I'm Pastor Price. I'm the pastor of St. John Baptist Church. And what we have heard this afternoon is we've heard the vision that we have for our children and for our community. We actually, this afternoon, we have come together from across this city, across socioeconomic differences. As Dr. Daly alluded to earlier, this afternoon, we have come together across faith lines. This afternoon, we have a multi-generational audience, which signals for me the importance of this election. This afternoon, we have a vision of our families and a vision for our friends and our communities. We have a vision this afternoon where we see our young children attending full-day early childhood, early learning programs. We have a vision where we see job training taking place, training heads of the household, training them for jobs that would pay them a living wage. We envision a 21st century police reform in San Antonio that encourages and builds trust and reduce tension in our community. We envision a public transportation system that reaches underserved communities here in San Antonio. Compton Metro this afternoon, we have promised that we would deliver over 52,000 votes, I believe, in November. I remember back in the day, there was a band that was called the Average White Band, the song that we love to jam to, that would say, I've got work to do. And so, Compton Metro, we have work to do. Our vision is not just going to happen. And so we have to work. We have to work informing and educating our friends and our family, our church members. We got to make them aware of the ballot, what's going on the ballot, encourage them to vote the entire ballot in this election. We have work. We got to keep working until everybody we know, everybody close to us, near to us, have registered to vote who are not registered voters. We have to do that until October the 5th. We have to keep working hard at registering voters. We have to continue to work hard throughout the early voting process. We got to be, vigilant, helping people make it to the polls. And so we have to do this with the understanding that we have work to do. In this process, we don't want to get fearful. We don't want to lose faith, and we don't want to doubt. So I'm reminded of Brother Paul in Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9, where he encourages the saints. He says, let us not, he says, become weary in doing good. He says, for at the proper time, he says, we will reap a harvest if we don't give up. And so I say to you, cops and Metro Alliance, on this Sunday afternoon, don't get weary, don't faint, don't give up. You're fighting a great fight. Stay on the wall. Let's keep encouraging our church, our friends, our family, our community to vote. Be encouraged. God bless you.
Candidates and guests, thank you for attending. We have over 450 guests here. Members of the press, please join our media team in the link assigned to you for any questions. Metro leaders, please stay for the evaluation. Now go out and vote. This meeting is adjourned.
Okay. So as you can see there, we have the some comments and where the politicians are stand on the matter, and this would help in our discernment to have a conscience informed of what's going on with our community and what are the stands of the politicians. Como ustedes escuchado, los propósitos y los porque ellos se corrieron por una posición del gobierno o que ellos, que parte de ellos están de acuerdo en ese camino de donde ellos en su carrera de política. So,
unless you're staying for the evaluation, please go ahead and leave.
So thank you so much.
Evaluation in just a few moments as people are
So I will shut down now, and may the Lord bless you all. Thank you, God bless.
There's